Dinesh,
Yes, Ramaswamy.
time is 2:25. Can we go for live?
Yeah, it's done. It's live on Sharp 225.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So just let me know when do I start?
Yeah, 5 minutes more, sir.
Okay. So Ramaswamy, exactly after 5 minutes, you just give me a thumbs up and then I'm on the screen, right?
Sure, sir. Yeah, sir.
I'm audible correctly, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Good afternoon, dear Toastmasters and leaders. Welcome to the second session of District 105 Growth Series. My name is Mandar Akshika, and I'm going to be your Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. As you are aware, in every Toastmasters meeting, there are certain ground rules to be followed. And here I am introducing them to you. First and foremost, avoid attending the meeting if you are driving, today being a weekend. Ensure all your mobile devices are either in the silent mode or switched off mode. Keep the microphones muted always, unless you are intended to speak. Use the reaction buttons to give applause to the speakers. Remember, this is a virtual Zoom meeting. Speakers may look at the camera whenever you wish to make eye contact with the audience while speaking. Turn off your camera whenever you wish to have whenever you want to leave to some place so that there is no distraction to the speakers. There are 3 taboo topics which we refrain from speaking: sex, religion, and politics. So avoid using this during your speech. The mission of Toastmasters District is that we build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. Now, to carry the meeting forward, we have someone very special from the District 105. She has been a passionate Toastmasters since 2013 and is a member of Abu Dhabi Toastmasters Club. She is an electrical engineer by profession and currently employed in the oil and gas sector. Her hobbies include reading, painting, and traveling. Please join me to welcome our MC for today's meeting, Distinguished Toastmaster Devi Narayan, with a round of applause.
Thank you, TTM Mandar, for that warm introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm good afternoon to one and all. Thank you for joining in on a Friday afternoon when you could have been doing several other activities that might have seemed more inviting, like taking an afternoon nap, watching your favorite series, and so on. But you chose to be here, so give yourselves a pat on your back. This afternoon, we have gathered here to attend the second session from the Club Growth series organized by the District CGD team. Friends, it's September, a month that generally marks the beginning of many new things. The new academic year, a change of season, the time of the year that marks the beginning of many new possibilities, opportunities, and most importantly, hope. No wonder September is sometimes referred to as the new January. In the words of Peggy Tawny Horton, September is the doorway to the success that awakens the soil. For us Toastmasters, what does Toast September mean? Well, it's the time of the year for membership building, to bring in fresh, young, and energetic blood and expose them to all the wonderful opportunities and possibilities that Toastmasters can offer, to form new clubs and help in their baby steps of their Toastmasters journey. After all, as a Toastmaster, we are all responsible to promote Toastmasters to the wider community and help them reap its benefits like we ourselves have. But we all know that this September is a very different one from that of the previous years. The current pandemic has affected our morale. It has affected each one of us in one way or the other. The not so positive happenings around the globe and the lack of social activity is keeping our spirits low. Now, what does this mean? Does it also not imply that it is even more significant that people utilize the benefits of positive platforms like Toastmasters during these dark and uncertain times? So how can we, as district officers, club officers, or as members, contribute to membership building? Let us find out. Today, we are privileged to have a keynote session on how to become a member magnet by a very respected and veteran speaker. I know you are all looking forward to this session. So without any delay, let me call upon the moderator for today's session. someone who needs no introduction within the Toastmasters community. An audiologist and business partner by profession, a Toastmaster since 2005 who has held several district positions. She has been appointed by Toastmasters International as the Arabic lead reviewer since 2012 and is also a Pathways ambassador. She is currently serving as our District 105 CGD. Now, no points for guessing who it is. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming DTM Rania.
Thank you, Devi, for this wonderful introduction, and a very good afternoon, my fellow friends and leaders from all over the place. Thank you again for joining us on this Friday afternoon. As Devi has mentioned, there are a lot of other tempting things to do, but I really thank you for giving us the time to enrich your knowledge on how to become members magnet. For this session, we have privilege to have, as Devi mentioned, a person who doesn't need an introduction. But out of formality, DTM Sujitsu Kumaran, our keynote speaker, has been a Toastmaster for 14 years and a Gavalier for 3 more years since 2003. He's a past district director for District 20 and has been the youngest at the time in Region 11 to hold this position. He's a 2-time distinguished Toastmaster and the youngest to simultaneously hold both in Pathways and the traditional path. He's also a 2-time TEDx speaker, award-winning debate coach, and a university professor. And at the personal level, he's also a disability rights advocate and serves as a trustee on several nonprofit boards on matters of policy. Without further ado, let's give DTM Sujit a thunderous virtual round of applause to highlight the topic on how to become a member magnet. Over to you, DTM Sujit.
Thank you, everyone. And it's a pleasure to see you all from the different places that you're joining. Friday afternoons are never easy for us to commit to anything except leisure and pleasure, more so to commit to learning. So I'm happy to see you all here. Today's session, we will be covering on the topic of how to become a member magnet. Now, we have had various education sessions on how to attract members, how to enhance the club experience, how to ensure that they keep coming over and over again. So basically, attraction, acquisition, retention, that has been the mantra. But today I'm going to take a bit of an off take and also show you some tools which you might be able to employ within your club meetings or in your clubs, especially in times of Corona, because we are not able to do prospecting and attraction and retention like before. So what do we do? How can we go about? And this is encapsulated and explained by a 3D strategy. You will find out what the three Ds mean also. So let's go into the session. I will cover the session first, and then we have some time for Q&A at the end also. So you can ask in your questions, which will be moderated by Rania. So over to the session. So when we say the first element of 3Ds, I'd like you to remember the element called draw. Now, this is the fundamental thing. How do you get people to come to your club? First and foremost, they need to know that something like this exists. Now, the first few things are quite typical, quite past. I'm assuming each of our clubs has a website of its own, at least on Free Toast Host or any of the other free hosting platforms. If you don't, and I'm sure a couple of them still don't out of our 200 plus clubs, it's about time we step them up. Now, some of y'all, what I'd like you to tell you is it's not enough just to make a website. What do you have on that website? What content? And how does that content match on to things people are searching for via means of search engine optimization, content-rich articles? That also makes a difference. Second thing, we're all social. Facebook page, a bit dated. Most of us have Facebook pages. Our district is very advanced in having administrators and groups and topical meeting invitations and stuff like that. But Facebook also has certain powerful features as in terms of inviting people across different catchment areas who may not already be Toastmasters. There's also some modules where you can actually go about targeting certain groups of demographics and population based on their interests. If you look at setting up a Facebook pixel account or something like that. So you can actually harness the power of the public at large. Meetup groups, yes, they were a thing when we were allowed to meet up physically. But even after that, now meetups are serving as a ground of collection for announcing about meetups, which are e-meetups. So certain clubs I know which do this aggressively and very well are like TGIS, Toastmasters in Dubai. A lot of members who are prospects coming through the meetup group, they actually say, we heard about you through meetup, because you can actually list your meeting on meetup with the date, time and place, and target it to a radius of particular number of kilometers. So a meetup group is quite interesting to start. It does cost something, but it's very nominal compared to the actual cost of going out and prospecting, especially in times when you cannot prospect. One very much ignored area, if you see the graph, the picture on the right, the graphic on the right, map listings and reviews. I actually searched how many of our clubs in Dubai, at least, because I know Dubai, I'm from Dubai, and at least in the vicinity that I stay in the Emirate, how many of them have a Google map listing? You will be surprised. We have more than, if I'm not wrong, 60 to 70 clubs in Dubai alone. And in that, hardly 15 or 20 have a map listing on Google. Why this is important is because these map listings are the first things that people find when they type, Toastmasters Club in Dubai or something like that. In this case, Dubai Toastmasters Club has a inbuilt search engine optimization advantage, because Dubai Toastmasters and club are 3 words that anyway people search for. So they'll be getting a lot of traction. There's also an option to add a review button here. So any of your members can give you 5 stars and actually talk amazing things about you. It'll actually push your listing up. You can see the directions button on the right. It can actually guide people who are on the road also in terms of how to come to your club. There's also a call out button. You can actually put a telephone number there. You can see the telephone number at the bottom of each of these club listings. This typically can be the VP Education or the VP PR or whoever will actually pick up the phone. You'll be surprised. Most of the time, this can be linked back to a Google Analytics account. So you can actually see how many people called you, from where they called you, which country, how, are they male or female, what are their preferences like. So if you do this organically in a couple of months' time, you will know how your club ranks in terms of magnetic attraction to the prospect member, especially somebody who doesn't know much about Toastmasters. That is your primary audience. Secondary audience is somebody who's already a Toastmaster looking for a dual membership. Then also these reviews and listings could be an interesting thing. Why reviews? Because just imagine if you're ordering a pizza on Zomato, you will go for the reviews, right? Which restaurant is the best, or which place is the best. You can also use the reviews to actually share the feedback about how this club was and what they did. The other quite ignored or misused area of draw factor is the YouTube channel. Many clubs now have a YouTube channel, but unfortunately, the way they are using it is just to chronicle their meetings. Now, that is not a draw. If you need people to come to your club after seeing YouTube videos, check out what the Toastmasters International website and the YouTube page does, is that they put out a lot of generic video content pertaining to how to become a better public speaker, how to improve your leadership skills, how to do better impromptu speaking. They also feature some of the world champion speeches and all those kind of things. So that is what people are typically searching for. If you have a YouTube channel and you're running a club, and the only thing you are doing is actually capturing the club meetings alone and beaming them on YouTube, that's a misuse of a fantastic advertisement platform. Instead, if you can cater to the VIFM mantra, the what's in it for me mantra, and put in videos which are relevant to what people are searching for, that will automatically spike your membership. So that is the first 3 or 4 pointers with regards to the draw equation. Now, after you draw them with the magnet, how do you secure engagement? Ensure that you have at least 1/3 of your members write something. Now, there are even tools which are available if people are lazy to write, like whatever I am talking right now can be transcribed automatically into a document. Like some people speak faster than they write, so whatever's being spoken can be auto transcribed, and then you just need to put an editor's team. So every time somebody comes, it can even be a speech and an interpretation of a speech. You have a 500-word article. Automatically, people will start talking about it, and then it gets shared, it gets viral, more PR for the club. Podcasts, very new field, amazing thing to do. One of the largest growing markets around the world, especially with the pandemic and the lockdown. People are consuming data and information like never before. Some of the podcasts have gone on to become multi-million-dollar earning PR mechanisms also. In District 105, we have a new club which has started called Podcasters Toastmasters Club, which is also focused on this. There's a website called anchor.fm, which allows you to host a podcast, make it, distribute it to a large audience for free. You don't have to pay anything. Only thing you have to ensure that your content falls within the guidelines and one of the buckets in terms of where they are looking to feature content. And public speaking and leadership development happens to be one of the hot topics. So every time you do a podcast, if you include a reference to your club, it can automatically be carried, and you can see people who are coming to your doorstep and saying, listen, I heard your podcast the other day. Are you the same? Are you guys the same club? And I want to join the club if this is the kind of things you do here. So just think about your business meetings before the club or some education sessions. How can that be made into a podcast format in terms of question answers or something like that? It's very chatty. It's very informative. Even, for example, the Q&A session we have after this, that also could be turned into a podcast if you want to actually launch the first podcast after this. Content-rich articles on your club website as well as on FB could be a brilliant way, because content-rich articles means, suppose I search like how to be a better impromptu speaker, and you have an article about impromptu speaking with a lot of references in terms of how you can do impromptu speaking, speaking on the spot, doing jamming and all that. Because table topics technically is not a very famous term outside the domain of Toastmasters. It's a copyrighted term within Toastmasters, but not many others outside in the outside world understand table topics. So it would be better if you're looking at promoting table topics or the ability to speak on your feet. Impromptu speaking could be the better word to be used. If you write articles, this could be an amazing draw. Another footnote or a point I wanted to talk about was the massively ignored Arabic market in the GCC. There is very minimal content in terms of articles, podcasts, YouTube videos, or any kind of stuff on the leadership and on the communication domain. Given the fact that we have UAE, Oman, Jordan, Lebanon, 4 wonderful countries within District 105, and in the broader region, we have Qatar and Bahrain and Kuwait also. Look at the amount of talent we have. And amazing guys, different kinds of Arabic, different styles. What huge potential. And I'm sure like a lot of young people are always searching in Arabic, and it misses out because our articles are in English, our podcasts are in English. So existing English clubs with Arabic members could look at, with Arabic speaking, native speaking members could look at this as a side hustle also, in case you want to branch out the English club into an Arabic club in the future. I personally believe, as a past district director, it's been one of the greatest ignored potential areas for club growth. Arabic clubs have a massive growth potential, but we need to mobilize the Arabic army towards doing that. And you can even actually translate the same English content into Arabic. That will do. You don't have to create fresh content. Next, you need to look at, after you draw them, okay, you got the audience, you bang the drum, you beat the drum, and everyone's gotten assembled. Then what? The second step of the 3D is called data. Once you get people, what do? You need to find out what they want to do, right? So the first point is, this is one of the tools, and by the way, this is not a paid or unpaid endorsement. All these are free tools. I'm not advertising any. You can choose whichever you want, but ensure you go for a free tool, because I know clubs are low on budget. Talk.to is an extension. It's a chat pod which you can add to your club website. It's a free tool, and you can also install the mobile app on your mobile as well, and it will notify you whenever anybody says hi on that, like, hi, I want to join your club, or I'm looking for a club which helps in public speaking and leadership development. Can you actually help me figure out where to come and what? In the same thing, there is also an option of putting a chat bot where you put a number of simulated questions to which there are triggered answers. And automatically after a point, you can still intervene. It's not like the robot does everything and then the guy comes to know that it's a robot, gets disinterested and runs away. You can intervene at any point in time. Case in point is we have used this for certain educational institutions and all that. And things have gone through the roof because people don't have patience nowadays. If I come to your club website and I say, okay, I want to join, where is your club? And you're taking more than 2 minutes to reply back, he will just type, are you sleeping? And he will go away. Then he will never come back. So you need to ensure that everything is ready and set up. Then very important is you can have guides and other resources. Of course, in collaboration with Toastmasters International, we are not going to give away any manuals or anything like that. But if you can have some sort of introductions to the curriculum, like a look-in kind of thing, without having the prospect of sharing copyrighted material. Because see, as a member, as a potential member, I don't know anything about Toastmasters. I want to know more about it. If you can give me a PDF cheat sheet or a workbook or something, I can actually plan that whether joining Toastmasters is a good decision or not. If it's uploaded on the website, which I can access upon providing my interest to join, like probably putting my telephone number and the email address and asking for a call back, I will know that this person has downloaded that kit, and as a result, he's interested and he's given his consent to be called back and invited to the next meeting. What then happens is this gets collected into a database. It's sort of like a modern version of your guest book on an Excel sheet. And then you put your VP membership and the sub teams on that to work on it. Like how Toastmasters International has a LMS lead management system for telling us new clubs leads. You can actually do this for new member leads also. So it's drilling down to the micro level if you would want it. And you can also do a helicopter macro view if you want it as well. So after this, you have the next area of data. First thing, there's a beautiful tool called OptiMonk, which gauges visitor behavior on the website. You can actually see what sections of your website they like more. Where are they clicking? What are they doing after coming? Which all speeches are they viewing? Which all videos are they viewing? What interests them? What category they are excited by? And there's another website called Hotjar. It also uses website heat maps to see which part of the site is performing. So you can put more content on that. Automatically, people will walk in. In OptiMonk, going back to the old tool, there is one more thing. Suppose somebody, they browse your website. Afterwards, they come and they're about to click the exit button. You can also do something called an exit prompt. Like, for example, we are sorry to see you leave. Why did you leave? So you can put 3 choices. I was looking for something else, or the membership fee is too expensive, or I will come back later, so and so. So what happens is then you will get that person's contact details. Given the average trend in any e-commerce or any kind of information related or learning related websites, the smallest of websites in the UAE, for sure, I can tell you, get between 500 to 1,000 visitors a day. If you multiply that and take around 10% conversion, which is very high, it's around 100 people. 1% is 10 interested people a day. Assume you have 10 interested persons per club, per website per day. And 10 is nothing because now everybody is sitting free at home and they are aggressively browsing. Just imagine, in terms of Smedley, what is your 5, 5, 5? 15 is all you need. You will break that target in 3 days' time. It's nothing big. You just need 3 or 4 people in a club to work on it, and your membership will go through the roof. It takes a bit of planning, takes a bit of cooperation and collaboration, but that is what leadership and communication is all about, right? Next part is the design. Have thematic open houses. Now, when I say open house, everybody is doing open house. There is nothing great about open houses anymore because everyone's doing it. But what are you showcasing in an open house? Everyone talks about how to be a better speaker, how to do ABCD, all that. Why don't we do topics of general interest? like I've lost my job. So how do I make myself competent to get employed again? You'll be amazed. Recently, Toastmasters International brought out a series of different things which are relevant to your life, like how to ace an interview or how to manage conflicts. And all of these are not really relevant core and core to public speaking, but they are relevant to your life. As an open house, why can't you do topics like, for example, how to manage your money better in troubled times or stuff like that? You'll be surprised that people might just come in to enjoy that education session, and eventually they will follow through, and they'll say like, wow, this is so educational. I would probably have to pay tens of thousands of dollars to get a course like this or this kind of intellectual interaction. Why don't I join this club? So much of brains are there in this club, so much of people who can actually discuss and enlighten me. Why not? Then now is the time, secondly, of an e-library. You can have PDF resources via YouTube. Also, you can have educational videos. Make your YouTube channel quite active. The more number of subscribers you get, after a point of time, YouTube itself will recommend that you are the best trending channel in terms of Toastmasters locally or whatever. You will be amazed the kind of people who want to join your club. Topic repository. This is also a part of the designing of the acquisition and retention equation. One of the areas you can also talk about is what project and which path. We are doing pathways education sessions left, right, and center. But is anybody going deep down, drilling into which project, what topics I can choose for which project in which path? That is point number one. And point number two is all these education sessions, like I think from the new term onwards, when July, when the new district team took over, now we are in September, 3 months. I think we must have done more than 50 plus Zoom meetings on various education sessions. I see all of this scrolling on Facebook and WhatsApp and YouTube and all. But if I want to access all of this in one place, indexed, subject by subject, speaker by speaker, topic by topic, in a way that I can use it as a centralized reference resource for my personal growth and journey, is that available? I'm not aware of it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I would like to see it because it's amazing, because it's like a crowdsourced library from the people who are the most expert and who know our members' needs the best. So if we concentrate on the mantras of these 3 Ds, namely draw, data, and design. Design, I believe some of the elements you are already doing. Mainly the draw and the data part. I think we will have much more control over the general flow of what our acquisition system as well as retention system is like. Of course, this is not in any way a substitute for creating the best club climate. But if you manage to do all these things over a period of time, I assure you, especially with the data component, you will be able to give amazing accurate reports to your area director, to your division director, and even your CGD. I know Rania must be smiling now. To even your CGD that, ma'am, listen, in this month we will be at this much membership and we will hit the targets. So yeah, that's about it. And then lastly, look at what's in it for the members and what is the hook at each meeting. Instead of inviting people, give them a hook. If I attend your meeting, what am I going to get? Each member will get a free PDF on XYZ theme. You know what? People will attend just to get that PDF. Ensure that they give their email addresses and you mail them something of value after the meeting. Because nowadays there's so much of choice. If I need to dedicate my time to you, then I need to get something back. What is the opportunity cost and the trade-off? So many resources are there. You can even share it between Toastmasters clubs. And nowadays, the beautiful thing which has come out of this crisis is that the world is your oyster. Check best practices from around the world. You look at that image on the right, you know what that is? That is a Toastmasters face mask. This was made by District 41, and they actually gave this to all their award winners and their office bearers once Corona hit. Now imagine you are wearing this and traveling in the metro. First of all, you will look strange. Half the people who encounter you will come and ask you, are you working for some secret agency or some organization? What does this logo mean? And then what do? Start a conversation. Communication and leadership, by the time 3 stations are over, you have a member in your pocket. Imagine, we are doing social service, we are protecting the world from disease, and we are empowering people and giving them communication and leadership one member at a time. I'm not saying you should make, corona masks or whatever, but think about intelligent things to do, and I'm sure you will be able to do amazing things. I now come to the end of my session. We can now proceed with the Q&A. Over to Samit, and then over to Rania.
Thank you so much, GTM Sujit, for this session. And now I would like to ask the audience to put in their questions in the chat window. I have a couple of questions already. Okay, so let's start with the first question. The first question, are there any statistics which of the tools you've mentioned is more effective?
Well, Rania, it depends on different things. All the tools are equally effective, even if you are an advanced club or a club which is a new club or a median club. But the easiest to set up and start is definitely the Google Maps. That is amazing, because without that, you are nowhere on the web. If you have that, you will be amazed at the amount of calls you start getting regularly.
Okay. The second question is, how to distribute the podcast around to attract members? Because you mentioned the podcast, people are not aware of the podcast. I mean, how to go about it, how they can utilize it.
Now see, Anchor.fm is such an amazing platform that it automatically broadcasts it for you to whichever subject groups or user groups that you specify. So Anchor.fm is sort of like Facebook, okay? And it's like a Facebook for podcasts. And whoever has interest in the area of public speaking and leadership, and if you label your podcast, the genre or the subject area is communication and leadership, then it will automatically beam it. Like if it's 500,000 people who are listening to public speaking and leadership podcast, it will automatically go to them. You don't have to do anything. You just have to create the podcast, get it recorded, canned, and press broadcast, and give permission to Anchor to spread it around the world. It will automatically go.
The second question is, how can we attract different nationalities when our base membership is mainly Indians?
Okay, very simple. What are you doing for the different nationalities to come to you? Do you have articles in their language? Do you have blogs in their language? Do you have some sort of cultural exchange in their languages? Like, I'm not saying because I am of a particular nationality, I will not know English and I will like only my language. But definitely, when I see English and my language also, I will like you more than any random club, right? Especially with the advent now, Saudi and their districts are amazing in this. We have still only ventured into the 3 or 4 language formula. I think in District 105 we have English, we have Arabic, we have Kannada, we have Tamil, we have Malayalam. Yeah, these are the clubs.
French as well.
Yeah, French, of course, in Jordan, and I think Marathi we were planning to start. I do not know about it. But other countries, you will be surprised, they have different. They have Spanish, they have Chinese in different countries. I'm not talking about Spanish in Latin America or Spain. They have in different countries. I know there are clubs which do Japanese and all in different parts where it's not part of Japan. So either you can plan for a club in a different language or plan for a segment in a different language. Like, the radio broadcasts we used to have, like 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock on All India Radio is Russian service, even though it's a Indian radio channel. So in the club meeting itself, you have a slot probably which talks about a proverb from that language or something from that language, and broadcast it to other people. Because many people who come to Toastmasters for the first time, speaking is itself terrifying, and they still, even though we know English, in our mind, in our brain, we are thinking in our native language and doing the cross translation. So if you have some cultural easiness element, and the easiest way to do this, the laziest way to do this, is host the snacks of that country or snacks of that place. One of the amazing clubs in Dubai which does similar meetings, Desert Voices, usually has an annual United Nations theme event where they dress up in all different countries' dresses. So that is also an interesting way to do it. But the fact remains that if the club is overwhelmingly one nationality, you cannot love one and not love another. That's how the balance of mathematics is. But you should provide opportunity equally for everyone. Toastmasters is a all-encompassing, non-discriminative entity, but it doesn't say that if you have majority of X nationality, you have to rebalance it. Otherwise, we'll shut down the club. We love everybody. So whoever wants to come through the door, please come in.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, any specific tips for corporate clubs in regard to the tools that you mentioned? Which are of those the most useful in your point of view for corporate clubs?
See, corporate clubs unfortunately have a lot of restrictions. I know because I have been involved with a lot of corporate clubs, especially like HSBC and all. Those have started at my time as an area director and then as a division director. Provided they have permission from their management to host podcasts or whatever. Like I know for a fact in India and UAE, two countries where I've been to as a Toastmaster in official capacity also, that the only problem for corporate clubs is they can do all these things, but they cannot put their company's name or speak about their company's name in any of the public media. That is a big issue. So they have to tread a fine line between whether it is done in individual capacity or corporate capacity. If it's corporate capacity, then it becomes a PR endorsement or something like that. It's a bit of a complicated ball game. But as a anyway, it doesn't. These all things don't matter for corporate club because their membership is not open anyway. It's a closed membership club. So what they will have to then do is something like a recess radio, where they can have a closed podcast to a closed audience. And this is amazing because I remember a couple of years back in India, and this is a funny but a very amazing incident. If you are an area officer or a division officer, you will pray that in your next birth you are born as that person. One of the area directors in India, he went to a major IT firm in India, into their corporate headquarters, and said, sir, my name is so and so, I am an area director of so and so club, so of so and so area. I have come to ascertain the possibilities of Toastmasters in your organization. So this is our structure. A club is comprising 20 members, and an area is comprising of a couple of clubs, and a division is comprising of X number of areas. And then you have district, which has so many divisions and areas, and then international. And the HR manager and the learning and development and the management guys, they will listen to the presentation very carefully. Then they said, okay, fine. Is it okay if we give you 2 divisions? Because in the whole building, they actually chartered in a single visit, they chartered around 28 clubs. So that is the power. You must be having 500, 600 Toastmasters in one building itself. Create a podcast for them. Let all of them listen to that and have a resource in-house itself. You don't need anywhere outside. Like we kill ourselves in a year trying to bring 20 members into 20 clubs. These guys have entire number of clubs in one building itself. I remember many years ago in 2011, when we chartered HSBC Toastmasters Club, we had 110 applications in a single shot. That is equal to 5 clubs straight away. So think about it. Whatever is the limitation of a corporate club can also be the greatest strength. All you need to do is strengthen your strengths and weaken your weaknesses. Things will work out by themselves.
Okay, thank you so much. The next question is how to attract members who are basically Arabic speakers and come into the club to improve their English speaking skills. What extra effort we can put?
Okay, they are Arabic speakers coming to English clubs to improve their English speaking skills. Okay, then you need to have a mix of content which is in Arabic and English. And now there are a lot of radio broadcasts also like that, which is teaching people. And this is a major issue. Like even the certain Arabic speaking people, native Arabic speakers are not good in Arabic because they have been schooled in English medium and vice versa. So you need to have a mix of Arabic and English content. And of course, you need to have Arabic speaking members. Because when I come to a club, I will look at whether the club has people who look like me, people who speak like me, and people who behave like me. And I will go and sit next to them only first until I get used to everyone else. That is common. So I'm not saying we start a ghetto system in the club or we start a kind of quarters where only Indians are there, or Pakistanis, or Bangladeshis, or Arabic speaking people are there, or French or British or American are there. But that's the way people's minds operate until you join this organization and you get to that global citizenship module. Everybody initially operates in silos, so you have to have a mix of Arabic and English content if that is your core mandate of attracting people of Arabic origin, Arabic speakers who are coming to improve their English. Of course, on the sidelines, like champions like Mohammad Katani or our past international president like Mohammad Murad, all these kind of super celebrities also will help, because it will give them pride about their ethnicity. Of course, that helps, but we can't have every year something happen like that. Those happen once in a blue moon, and other days the club needs to take care of them.
Okay. The second question is there any success story of any club that has adopted chatbots and seen results?
I'm not aware of any clubs which have done that, because till now we never needed to do that. Now we need to do all these things because we are not able to go and chat physically with people, right? Before, what we used to do, we'll get a phone call, we'll take our car and we will go there, sit in the office with a bulky box of forms and try to get signature and push the finance manager to give us some kind of money, and we charter the club. Now the rules of the game have changed. Now the game itself has changed. So I'm yet to see, and that is primarily the reason behind this education session. I hope people will start using it from now on.
Okay, a lot of questions are coming up. Okay, now the other question is, after we create content on social media such as YouTube, how can we make sure that our prospects will find them?
So you need to ensure that you tag the YouTube videos properly, and you title the meta tags of the YouTube video are proper, so that the algorithm of YouTube indexes in a particular way and it will come. It will take time. It's not overnight. Okay, like I was very naive in the beginning when I started making YouTube videos. Every day I used to go and check how many views are there, how many subscribers are there. This is not an overnight process like Jack in the Beanstalk. You put the seed today, tomorrow itself the beanstalk will come up. It takes its own time. But over time, if your content is amazing and more people are following it, it will go up the rank and up the algorithm. Then immediately people will start finding. And over a period of time, if it gets a lot of traction, it will come in the suggested or recommended videos panel. That's when you know the videos are really having impact.
The second question is, everyone is a volunteer, and to manage to create social media requires extensive work. Should the club pay an agency to take care of the suggestions that you've mentioned? And if so, what should they budget approximately for this?
I don't think any of this is heavy lifting at all. I am sure you waste time on Facebook much more than what will take time to develop all this. All these are one-time setups. And if you can dedicate 1 hour a week, 60 minutes a week, that means hardly around 10 minutes a day of intelligent work. And you have 20 members. So you're looking at 20 hours in a week. That is more than enough. Put everyone to work. At least not only the office bearers, let everyone carry the load of the club. Why I do not recommend an agency is, first of all, the agency will not know about what our members' requirements are and what is Toastmasters. Second, the contract with any external agency has to be approved from TMI well before in advance, and you are not allowed to do any commercial activities because we are not an agent or anything like that. So I wouldn't suggest you do any of that commercial activity unnecessarily. And it's not rocket science. You are not some, FMCG major who's trying to do an endorsement for $1 million. This is very small, zero cost. I'm telling you, all these tools are free. Why do you still want to pay people and get it done? Rather, use it as a HPL project or an opportunity to learn something new. If you fail, you will learn something. We are all there to support you if you need help. And I am telling you on air live, if you need any support, if I know anything, how I can help you, please approach me through the CGD team. I will be glad to help you. And you will be surprised to know CGD team is already planning some amazing stuff. So wait for it. It will be rolled out in due course, which will help all of the clubs. But that doesn't give us right to be lazy. We also have to work on our own.
I think we have time now for one last question. For the Google Maps subscription that you mentioned, is that for free, and how to apply for it?
That is for free. You will have to go and there is a Google Maps location listing. You will have to claim that. and it has to be attached to a physical address, a building or something like that. And they will send a verification code to a listed mobile number, provided that location has not been already claimed. Now I know previously Google used to allow multi-listings in one building, like Emarat Atrium in Dubai is used by Burj Toastmasters and TGIS. That time they didn't have any problem. But now the new rule is that one location can be used only by one club. Whoever first in, first out, whoever claims first, they will be the owners. So if a lot of clubs are meeting at the same venue, then whoever takes action and claims it offer valid while stocks last. It's a free process.
Thank you so much, DTM Sujit. I think the time is up for the questions, and we'll compile the rest of the questions and we'll prepare a document. Maybe I'll share it with you so you can answer them, and we'll also share the PPT with whoever wants to have it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your session and for the valuable information. And I hand over to the MC.
Most welcome. Hope you all enjoyed it. Happy to answer any further questions offline. Thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rania. Let's have a big round of applause for our keynote speaker, DTM Sujit Sukumaran. It was indeed an extremely useful and well-explained strategy for membership building, both in terms of acquisition and retention. And if I were to quickly summarize the whole thing, it would be draw members using unique tools such as Facebook, Google Map listing, podcasts, etc. Analyze the data, the second D of the 3D strategy, using and gather visitor preferences. And the third one would be to calibrate club experience through the design. Indeed, a very insightful strategy, which was followed by a set of interesting questions, well moderated by a CGD. And if I were to take home one message, it would be strengthen your strengths and weaken your weaknesses. Thank you indeed for that wonderful session. We now move on to the last portion of today's session, which will be with the vote of thanks. May I invite Toastmaster Arnold, who is an advertising professional who loves creative work and is an eternal learner. A member of Sheena's Toastmasters and currently serving as the Area Director for Area 38. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Arnold.
Good afternoon, everyone. Still good. Yes. Fellow Toastmasters, what an afternoon we have witnessed. I am already feeling all magnetic. The magnetic powers are flowing all around me. Thank you so much for that, DTM Sujit. It's been my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks for this special session. On behalf of CGD team of District 105, I wish to express our gratitude and a hearty thanks to DTM Sujit Sukumaran for delivering such an enlightening and informative session. I'm sure with the membership season in full flow, we all will surely benefit from your insights on this particular topic. We all appreciate having this mysterious topic simplified for us. We are all inspired by your words. Now, events like this requires planning and an eye for details. And we have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated Toastmasters. And now it's time to acknowledge and appreciate them. First of all, I would like to thank our Sergeant at Arms for today's session, DTM Mandar Akshikar. Zoom Master, can you? Thank you, DTM Mandar, for being so crisp and precise and setting the platform right for the things to follow for the virtual session. Thank you so much. I would also like to extend our thanks to DTM Devi Narayan for anchoring today's session. Thank you, DTM Devi, for playing a key role in running the session so smoothly. Our very own Zoom Masters, Toastmaster Ramaswamy and Toastmaster Jinesh, our whiz kids, the men behind the scene who handled the tech part of this session. Thank you, Ramaswamy and Jinesh, for your valuable support. Next is our timekeeper, Toastmaster Samir GP. Thank you, Samir, for showing us the value of time and keeping all of us on a tight, timely leash. And finally, thank you, Toastmaster Anurmasi, that is me for you, for the creativity and unwavering support to give this event a unique identity. I must mention here a deep sense of appreciation to DTM Rania Abulrab, Club Road Director for District 105, for her unflinching drive and empowerment to her team. We are grateful for your wisdom, Rania, and patience with us. And above all, a big thank you to all the attendees for making this session successful. Once again, I express my gratitude in the words of John F. Kennedy. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Live by the words of wisdom given by DTM Sujit. Dear members, go and become a member magnet. Back to you, DTM Rania.
Thank you so much, Arnold, for this wonderful vote of thanks. And again, I would like to extend my thanks to all of the audience here and to DTM Sujit for this wonderful session. I hope you find it quite useful, and now you're equipped with more tools to help you in attracting more members and becoming true magnets for members that will, guests that will convert to members and enrich your membership and utilize these tools. As he mentioned, all of these are free, and we'll provide like a guideline or like a manual and a reference for you that you can utilize, because some of the tools even I've never heard of before. So it would be very interesting to explore them and try them. And I'm sure they'll be quite handy and effective, especially now everything is online. So we need to get out of our comfort zone, our comfort box, and think of new prospective tools that will enrich our membership experience, and also new stuff to learn, and equip ourselves with new skills that we can also carry on and use even after we get back to the physical world, hopefully soon. So let's switch on our cameras to have one group photo before we sign off. Thank you so much. Zoom Master, the floor is yours. Now you can take over control.
Your video is off, Rania.
My video is off? Okay. Can you see me now?
No.
No? My video is off.
Yeah, your video is off.
I don't know what's going on. It's fine. There's something wrong with my Zoom connection.
Not a problem, Rania. We can always Photoshop you.
All right, no worries. Okay, we can stop also the live streaming. Thank you so much.